we got Vitor Petrino versus Tyson Pedro. So we have Vitor Petrino versus Tyson Pedro. Vitor Petrino, he is also undefeated, 10-0, 5-0 in his last five. He's coming off of that KO victory over Modestus Bukauskas. He's fighting against Tyson Pedro, 10-4. He is 3-2 in his last five, and he's actually coming off of a KO victory himself over Anton Turcois. Moving on to the odds for this fight right now, we have Petrino open up at a minus 350, and now he's at minus 300. Gerard, what do you think about Petrino versus Pedro here for this co-main event?
I like this fight a lot. I think this fight could potentially be fight of the night. Um, this fight probably should have been what I think the main event. um, Petrino, man, this guy's a man's man. He he's scary. He can he can win anywhere. He can beat you anywhere. He could get the knockout, the submission, the dominating decision. Uh, his stand up has been improving from fight to fight, and I like that he's patient and he picks his shots and takedowns. And in this division, he kind of reminds me of like a Benoit Saint Denis
Wow.
in terms of the momentum and potential of going up the ranks in this, and just how dominating he's been. I think uh, Tyson Pedro, I'm a fan. He's one of my favorite guys coming out of city kickboxing. He has that technical striking. He can snipe when he's at his best. Uh, and Pedro, his stand-up defense holds up even when he's tired, when he's fatigued. He's still sharp defensively, and he does have some jujitsu skills himself. Uh, for me in this fight, I got Vitor Petrino, medium to high confidence as a parlay piece for me. As much as I love Pedro, I just think that Petrino can win either KO, sub, or decision. And for Pedro, he's going to have to find a way to snipe Petrino, get some respect early. And I don't know if he'll get that. Petrino has a chin on him as well. And I think Petrino's been fighting more disciplined as from fight to fight from what I've seen. So those are my thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a kind of an interesting co-main event here for Petrino and Pedro, right? Because Pedro he used to be that kind of young kind of star that they were trying to push up. If you just look at his record and opponents in the past, he has some pretty good wins. I think that he's a really solid all-around fighter. He can kind of do it all. I think that he's a little bit more dangerous than what people give him credit for. I mean, this guy's coming off a KO win, right? So he has 5 KOs, 5 submissions in his career. In the UFC, he has 4 KOs and 2 submissions. I think he's just solid all around. And they also have both of these fighters have an interesting mix of opponents, right? So Pedro fought Bukauskas, lost via decision to him, and then he fought Turcois, won via knockout. If you look at Vitor's record, I watched that Anton fight as it happened live. I watched that. I remember that, and I was on the Petrino side. Close fight, but Petrino still won that. He looked extremely gassed in that fight though, but he still overcame that gas. And then Bukauskas, I mean, Petrino just knocked him out. So I'm kind of wondering why Pedro knocked Turcois out in round one, and it Petrino could not knock him out, and he had kind of survive a decision there. Maybe it was due more so to the grappling because Turcois was actually landing a lot of takedowns on Petrino. Petrino was getting back up though, and maybe Pedro just found that kind of perfect shot on Turcois in that fight. I do think that Petrino, he's one of these guys that looks extremely juiced. This guy, man, he looks like a at times kind of like a Yoel Romero, the way like this guy carries that juice, like very heavy hands. His hooks are killer. I do think that he's improving his striking, but I mean his grappling was what kind of won me over when I first saw this guy because this guy just has some powerful takedowns, and he just even if he gets gas, he just does not give up. So that's what I like about fighters that I would want to kind of lay juice on is that they just don't give up and they keep on fighting through adversity and cardio issues. To me though, I do think that Tyson is solid all around and he's well rounded enough to make me kind of hold off on this fight for now because Tyson does have some skills. Like he has a solid all around skill set. I think this is going to be a closer fight than what people are thinking. I feel like the odds right now minus 300, that's a little disrespectful with Tyson Pedro. I think that he works better as a dog than a favorite. Tyson Pedro is not a good favorite from what I've seen as far as his like track record, unless he's fighting like a kind of a can, if you will. But right now, Vitor Petrino is minus 300. As we look over the over, it's over under 1.5 right now, and that opened up at plus 130. Now is minus 150. So I'm just gonna hold off on this fight for now, but I do think that Vitor, I will lean towards him finding a KO at some point, but I think I'm not confident enough in him yet to actually lay a minus 300 juice on against a guy like a Tyson Pedro who is extremely well rounded.